Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me? Thank you so much for joining us today on our very first Sunrise Tours webinar. My name is Mary O'Leary, and I'm the marketing coordinator for Sunrise. I will be your host and moderator today as we present to you our Magic of Winter in Yellowstone tour, departing in January 2024. A little side note, if you notice that you can't see our presenters or the slideshow properly, please feel free to adjust your view by using the view options in the toolbar at the top of your screen. So first and foremost, if you're unfamiliar with Sunrise Tours, we are a group tour operator based in Kirkwood, Missouri, right outside the city limits of St. Louis. We've been around since 1994, creating fabulous vacation experiences for our loyal Sunrise travelers. This new webinar series is a step forward towards our goal of always exceeding customer expectations. Our webinars will be an opportunity for our staff, tour directors, and service providers to present our tours to you, dive deeper into our itineraries, and answer questions. This webinar will be approximately 45 minutes, no longer, and we will begin today with a presentation of our itinerary, followed by a discussion of frequently asked questions, and ending with a question and answer session. At any point during this session, should you think of a question, please enter it into the designated Q&A box displayed on your screen, and we will try our best to answer it at the end. If it is not already answered in our presentation. These will be anonymous, just so you're aware, and without further ado, allow me to introduce our presenters. Caleb Lawson is Sunrise Tours Operations Manager. He's our lead tour planner and often heads out on tour as a director as well. Debbie Robertson doubles as a senior tour planner in the office and a tour director out and about. Caleb and Debbie are both very well versed in the nuts and bolts of Yellowstone, but I'll let them tell you all about that. So over to you, Caleb and Debbie.
Hi, thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you to everyone for taking time out of your day to join us today so we can tell you about one of our favorite tours.
Oh, yeah.
The Magic of Winter in Yellowstone. As you've already heard, my name is Caleb Lawson. I'm the operations manager at Sunrise Tours. I also act as a tour director, and I've had the privilege of planning and leading the Winter in Yellowstone tour on numerous occasions. I'm joined by Debbie Robertson.
Yes,
Debbie?
I am Debbie Robertson. I'm a senior tour planner and tour director, and I have also enjoyed many excursions, planning and directing tours in Yellowstone National Park in the winter.
So today we're going to take you through our upcoming Winter in Yellowstone tour. We're going to go through a day-by-day itinerary. We're going to tell you about all of the wonderful things we have planned, as well as tell you about the park, our optional activities, and just hope to get you excited about this wonderful tour. So, of course, our destination on this tour is Yellowstone National Park. As a national park enthusiast myself, Yellowstone holds a very special place in my heart. Of course, it is our world's first national park when it was designated in 1872, and it set a wonderful precedent for all the national parks that we have to follow. And whether you've been to Yellowstone 10 times or whether this would be your first time, it's still full of surprises, even after 150 years of being a national park. It contains some of the continent's most amazing wildlife, some beautiful scenery. One of my favorite things about Yellowstone is its incredible geology. It holds over 2/3 of the world's geysers within the national park. And in the wintertime, as these thermal hot features emit hot air, that steam gets captured in the colder air and you see it all around you and you really experience the geology firsthand. So traveling to Yellowstone in the winter is an extremely unique experience. And I know, Debbie, Yellowstone holds a special place in your heart as well.
Oh, it does, definitely, Caleb. And in addition to the geology, the park is surprising with new and fantastic features every time I visit. It has 7 species of conifer trees, 1,000 species of native plants, 67 species of mammals, and 320 bird species, including the great blue heron, who is a resident year-round. They call him Mr. Grumpy, but I had the privilege of seeing him fly across the Madison River earlier this year, and that was quite a highlight. So sensational.
So we look forward to telling you more about Yellowstone. So with that, let's get back into our day-to-day itinerary for this trip. And as you can see on day one, we're going to start the tour by heading to Bozeman, Montana. Bozeman is the city on the northwest corner of Yellowstone. It's the perfect location to enter the park from the west side or from the north side. And this is where we'll be going to enter the park on different times throughout our trip. We will travel together to Bozeman, and we will arrive in time for dinner, a welcome reception to get to know your fellow travelers and to hear about the upcoming tour, and then an overnight stay in Bozeman before our adventure begins.
On each screen, you'll notice at the bottom, it will tell you what city we're staying in, as well as which meals are included for that day. If the meal is not included, we'll be sure to take you to a place, an area where you'll be able to choose a great spot for a meal on your own. Maybe you'll get a bison burger or an elk burger, right? So we're going to wake in Bozeman on day 2 in West Yellowstone. We're going to visit the Smithsonian Affiliate Museum of the Rockies. This museum is an exceptional active research area for dinosaurs, specifically the T-Rex, and it houses one of the largest T-Rex specimens in the world. After that, we'll take you to Main Street in Bozeman, where you'll have lunch on your own and a choice of many different local eateries. Then we'll board the coach and we'll head south. We'll hug the Gallatin River, go through the majestic rock walls of the canyon, and hopefully see some wildlife, right? As we head into West Yellowstone.
Absolutely. And before you get to West Yellowstone, you'll be driving through a tiny sliver of Yellowstone National Park. So it's always good to keep your eyes open for some of that famous park wildlife that we're all looking for when we enter into Yellowstone. When we arrive to West Yellowstone, you'll be spending the first of 3 nights in that town, which is really the western gateway into Yellowstone National Park. On day 3, when we awake in West Yellowstone, we'll be going on a very special guided tour on our private snow coaches into Yellowstone National Park. This is really one of the feature events on our tour. We will have our own private snow coaches, and we will have 3 snow coaches because they hold around 13 per vehicle. They are heated, they are comfortable, and they are modified to drive on the snow. In Yellowstone this time of year, there's only one road that's actually plowed. The rest of them are packed snow. So these vehicles drive on over 6 feet of snowpack, and their tires have been modified so that they can safely and securely drive on these roads. The tires are about as tall as me.
Yeah, they're big.
They have modified these vehicles to be very safe and secure in the snow. The tour will take you into the park where you'll be able to see a lot of the geology and look for a lot of the wildlife that we've already discussed. And then the destination for this particular day will be Old Faithful. Old Faithful is, of course, the most famous geyser in the world. It's the most regular geyser in the world. And we will get you there for an eruption, and you'll get to see Old Faithful erupt, which I've already mentioned in the winter months is spectacular because that steam captures in the air and it looks like an even bigger eruption than it does in the summertime. So Debbie, will you tell us more about the day on the snow coach?
Oh yeah, it's a special day, and we will get you to Old Faithful. You will be front row. That's one of the great things about winter in Yellowstone is it's not crowded, uncrowded completely. When we see wildlife along our journey, everyone can pull over, get out, take pictures, or you can actually take pictures from inside the coach, and they're fantastic because there's panoramic windows on the snow coach, and snapping pictures from inside really turn out well. As Caleb had mentioned, it is a heated snow coach. They are comfortable and a great way to spend the day going to Old Faithful. In addition, the drivers are also guides. So they're local experts, they're knowledgeable in the area, they're mic'd so that they can talk to each other. If somebody spots an animal, you're right there on them and you can go and see some incredible sights. In fact, a few years ago, we stopped along the river because one of our guides had spotted 3 river otters, which is a rare sighting in Yellowstone National Park in the winter. And it was incredible. We all got pictures. And then right across the river from us was a National Geographic gentleman filming the river otters. So it is a special day. It's an extraordinary day, and you will love it. Returning around 4 or 5 p.m.
You'll get back to West Yellowstone in time for us to enjoy a dinner together and another overnight stay before heading into day 4. On day 4, we have set aside a day for you to enjoy the Yellowstone area in any way that you choose.
Yeah.
Really a highlight of this tour is this free day because there are so many different ways to explore Yellowstone in the wintertime. We're going to talk about a couple of different options that we've outlined for you, and we will give you the chance to sign up for these tours should you decide to go on this tour. The first one is returning into the park on another snow coach tour. Just like you did the day before, you would be getting on a heated snow coach. You would be heading back into the park, but this time, instead of going to Old Faithful, you would be going to the canyon area of Yellowstone. This is a part called the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. And if you see the slide on your screen of the waterfall, that is Lower Falls. One of the most famous pictures of Yellowstone National Park is Lower Falls. This time of year, it is either completely frozen or partially frozen, which makes it a very unique experience and a way to see that incredible sight in a way that most people will never see it. You'll have endless opportunities to see wildlife. You'll see countless more bison, perhaps even some of the other wildlife like moose or wolves that people desire to see when they go into the park. Lunch will be included on this day as well, and then you'll return to West Yellowstone around the same time as the day before, 4 or 5 p.m., depending on how much wildlife you saw. There are a number of other opportunities to experience Yellowstone on this day. Debbie, would you tell us about some more?
Yes, you can rent or reserve a snowmobile. There's a picture of it right there on your screen. And the snowmobile is easy to navigate. It's a bucket list item for many, many people. But you can join a guided tour on the snowmobile, and it's guided through your helmet with the guy in the front. You're all in a line and following one another into the park with this unique view. You are right next to nature. You are right next to the wildlife. It's pretty incredible. Our guests that have done the snowmobile tours love it. So you can take that tour up to Canyon, the same, up Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, past Barrel Springs, and different options that you could stop and see along the way. The guide will stop. It's really a wonderful option for you when you do rent or reserve. You probably will want to include the rental. It's a small fee for a suit, boots, goggles, gloves. They'll give you the helmet, but these other items will make you comfortable for the full day. Lunch will be included as well for you on the guided snowmobile tour in Yellowstone National Park. Now, another option is to take that snowmobile rental, maybe do it a half day and just tool around in West Yellowstone. There's trails out of West Yellowstone. You can go up into the Gallatin National Forest, which hugs Yellowstone National Park. And there's some great views and vistas from there that you can look out onto Yellowstone National Park. So that's an option as well, is to just rent the snowmobile tour, the snowmobile for a half day.
And there's other options as well. If you decide not to go back into the national park with your free day, you can stay in West Yellowstone and explore all there is to do in the town. Among the things to do includes the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center, which is a great facility. It houses live animals, rescued animals from the Yellowstone ecosystem, including grizzly bears and gray wolves. And these are animals in enclosures. They keep them active throughout the day with feedings. They swap animals in and out of the enclosures. So you really get to see these animals in movement and in motion and up close. They also have a wonderful indoor otter exhibit with live animals. It really is a great facility and a great way to spend your day. Also in West Yellowstone, you have an IMAX theater, which has a documentary style video about the national park. Many of our travelers have enjoyed that in the past. There's also a Yellowstone National Park Visitor Center in the downtown area, as well as, of course, a line of restaurants and shops and endless ways to spend your day in West Yellowstone, and perhaps a more relaxing day if you're not looking to spend all day in the park on another guided tour. One last thing I'll mention about the free day in Yellowstone, there is a store in West Yellowstone that rents snowshoe or cross-country skis, and there are trails in the area for anyone who wants to try their hand at something a little more active.
And many of our guests have done that as well.
Absolutely.
That Discovery Center is something else, a
Mhm.
sanctuary for animals that would have been removed from the wild. It's a special, special place. So that's a time that you can go souvenir shopping. I know sometimes people want to know, when can I shop? Well, this is a day, and if you go on one of the guided tours, those shops are open into the evening, so you can do your souvenir shopping then. So we wake up on day 5 in West Yellowstone, but we are now headed north to the north entrance, the Gardner area. But en route, we have a couple of fantastic opportunities for fun. One of which is going through the Gallatin Gateway to 100-year-old Elkhorn Ranch, a very, very beautiful place where as we arrive, the Percheron horses will be pulling sleighs. Immediately we get on those sleighs, we cover underneath a blanket, and we go through a breathtaking winter wonderland through the lodgepole pines and snowy fields. It's just an incredible visit. I think you spotted an animal once.
It is, yeah. And just because you're outside of Yellowstone National Park doesn't mean the wildlife knows the boundaries. They don't stop at the park boundaries. So on this tour in the past, actually the last time I was out with a group at Elkhorn Ranch, we had the opportunity to see a moose. And also elk, of course, that carries the name of the ranch, and those are commonly spotted on the ranch as well. But even if you happen not to see wildlife on that trip, it is a beautiful and wonderful excursion.
It is.
Yeah.
And after our sleigh ride, we'll go into a cozy log dining room and a warm fire for a home cooked meal. You'll meet the chefs. A lot of times our guests want the recipes, so they'll ask for the recipes for the food. It's a special place, a neat experience, and you'll enjoy it definitely. When we leave there, then we're going to head to Big Sky.
Yeah, and we'll stop in Big Sky and meet a local sled dog owner who will introduce us to a couple of his furry friends and talk about the life of dog sledding and the culture and what it takes to run dog sleds in that area and in Canada and Alaska, where he used to operate dog sledding as well. So that's a special presentation that you'll receive in the Big Sky area before heading northeast to Gardner, Montana, where we will check in for a 2-night stay at the northern entrance of Yellowstone National Park. Gardner is home to the famous Roosevelt Arch. That's something that you have to see while you're there. That is where Teddy Roosevelt laid the cornerstone in 1904 for the Roosevelt Arch and the northern entrance of Yellowstone. And certainly one of the sites to see. So we will stay in Gardner ahead of day 6, which is another special day on tour when we get to head into the Lamar Valley. The Lamar Valley is often called the Serengeti of North America. The reason it's called that, as you can imagine, is because of all the wildlife that calls that area home. This is an area that in the winter months is much drier, so it does not get the type of snowfall that the rest of the park does. There's still grass growing there, so it has a lot of your big grazers like bison and elk and moose, perhaps bighorn sheep. And of course, where you have these big grazers in Yellowstone, you also have predators. And one of the top checklist items for anyone going to Yellowstone is the desire to see gray wolves. This is your best chance to see gray wolves, especially in the winter months. And I believe, Debbie, you and I have both seen gray wolves each time we've been on this tour.
Every time we've seen wolves.
Yeah, which is really incredible.
That
It's
is.
certainly not something we can guarantee.
No.
But seeing
guarantee
wolves,
that.
seeing wolves is a really special experience, and this is the best place to do that. So you'll travel through Lamar Valley with an expert naturalist guide who will tell you all about the reintroduction of the gray wolf in the mid-90s, all about the history, ecology of the area before returning to the Mammoth area to have lunch and take part in a couple of other activities.
That's right. The Mammoth Hot Springs Hotel is our destination for lunch. It's recently renovated. They were closed for a full year doing the renovation of this beautiful property. And so we'll enjoy lunch there. And if you still have shopping to do, there's a gift shop there. So, but after lunch, we'll have a guided tour of the Travertine Terraces, where hot springs rise up through the limestone and they create these terraces that are just incredibly beautiful. It looks like a cave turned inside out. It's so great.
It's beautiful.
And then we'll walk on the boardwalk. You'll have the opportunity for some free time to walk the boardwalk all around the terraces and take as many pictures as you would like before we head back into Gardner. And don't be surprised if you see elk right in the front yard of our hotel. They are everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, at the northern entrance, elk are really, they replace bison as the most dominant
they're abundant.
big species that you see in the northern area of Yellowstone. In fact, when I've led groups into this portion of Yellowstone, we've really seen some incredible sights involving elk. There was one such time where I was leading a bus through the Lamar Valley, and we happened to see a lone elk in the distance. Now, this isn't necessarily a good place for a lone elk to be hanging out. So as we got closer, we did see that this elk was wounded. And all of a sudden we see one wolf, and then we see two wolves. We see them calling and howling to each other to come and join the pack to finish the job. And that may seem like a harsh story or a somber story to some, but seeing the Yellowstone ecosystem at work and seeing it up close like that, like you would in a National Geographic documentary, is something that you can't replace. It is truly an amazing experience to see those wolves. And I'm glad I was able to share that with our passengers.
Yeah, that's a unique experience for sure.
One other such story, I believe we have a video for. Now, this was on the way into the northern entrance in an area called the Paradise Valley. This is a herd of elk that decided to gallop alongside of our bus as we head into the park. These are wild elk. This is just outside the park, but it shows you what the Yellowstone ecosystem is. And to have that massive herd run alongside of our bus for over a mile was truly a spectacular scene that I was excited to share with our passengers. And so we have day 7. We have taken our pictures. We've gone on our tours. We've had some wonderful experiences and made some great friends. And now it's time to return home. So we will depart Gardner on day 7, head back to Bozeman, catch our flights, and return home.
And we'll read that saying there: for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. That's what Yellowstone motto, mission, its spirit is about.
Absolutely. Well, we've gone through the itinerary day by day. Debbie, I know you've been to Yellowstone a number of times.
Yep.
You've had the opportunity to lead this tour a number of times. Mm-hmm. But as we go through this itinerary, what excites you about the upcoming trip as a tour director for one of our upcoming tours?
It's such a magical place, summer or winter. But in the winter, it's pristine, it's beautiful, it's breathtaking, it's wonderful. And the itinerary just flows well, offers a free day. It's really wonderful. And I just love that first sighting of a bison. And people are so excited. We get our pictures, and I know you're going to see 1,000 more, but they do enjoy seeing that. I also love the heightened contrast of the animals against the snow. And the snow makes it so quiet. We get into the park, there's no cell service. Everybody's disconnected, and you're just immersed in nature. It's an incredible experience to share with your other travelers.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Caleb? What do you like?
Well, as I look at this itinerary, one thing I'm really excited about is getting back to Lamar Valley.
Oh, right.
If you remember last year during the summer months, they had historic rains and historic flooding in the northern portion of Yellowstone. The northern entrance road was completely washed out. So they've spent the last year recreating that entrance, making the Mammoth area, the Lamar Valley area more accessible.
Yeah.
And so for the first time in essentially 2 years, our guests will get to experience Lamar Valley. And I can't wait to be on that motor coach.
Me too.
Traveling through the Lamar Valley, looking for wolves and other wildlife.
Definitely.
Some important information we'd like to share with you about the upcoming tours. First of all, everyone wants to know what the weather's going to be like. Well,
it's cold.
We don't have a forecast, we don't have a magic ball, and we're not weather forecasters to tell you exactly what the weather is going to be like, but this is winter in the Rocky Mountains. So you can expect wintry conditions. We will see snow on the ground. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. That's how those snow coaches operate. We're also likely to experience snowfall during the time that we're there. And there are ways that you can prepare yourself for these type of conditions. One of our guides in Yellowstone always says there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothes. So Debbie, how can people prepare themselves for the elements on this tour?
Well, first of all, don't be alarmed about the snowfall that may be predicted. They're so used to that and they know how to groom the roads, and it's safe in our travels. As far as attire, we recommend layers, just like any other tour, but in this tour particularly, you want to have the layers. Maybe you're on the heated snow coach, you let go of a layer, but you do need it when you get out into the elements, the layers, the gloves, the hats, and so forth. We also recommend these. Can you see these? These are yak tracks. They actually cover the complete bottom of your shoe. It's steel coils wrapped around natural rubber, and they bite into the snow and ice and reduces your chance of falling. They're really great. I've used them every year. You've used them, I think, right?
Absolutely.
They're worthwhile purchase. I got mine at Dick's, but you can get them at any sporting store, REI, any of them. I think mine were about $30, but they're worthwhile investment. Also, some people like to bring hand and toe warmers. You stick those in your suitcase, activate them in the morning, and you're comfortable all day long. So with the layers and those couple extra things and your binoculars and your camera, you're set.
Of course. And I've also had people that have decided to bring walking sticks or trekking poles. And that is by no means required, but it can provide a little bit of extra stability, and it could come in handy if you decide to bring them. Now, some people might ask about wildlife and if it's safe to be out there with the wildlife in Yellowstone. And of course, our guides will keep you at a safe distance at all times. The wildlife do use the groomed roads because for the bison, it's a lot easier to walk on that road than it is to trudge through 6 feet of snow. So we're going to be close to the bison, but our guides are experts at navigating and knowing the safe conditions. So we've never had a situation where there's a compromising situation with wildlife on these Yellowstone tours. Now, you may ask what's included in a sunrise tour, particularly if you've never been on a sunrise tour. You might not realize that your airfare is included from the gateway cities of St. Louis and Kansas City. If you're looking to join the tour from another location, please just give us a call, and I'm sure that we can find a way for you to join the tour easily and efficiently. The meals are included as indicated on your itinerary. If you're looking at a catalog, you will see a B, L, or D at the end of the paragraph, and that tells you which meals are included on those days. When a meal is not included, we'll give you the opportunity with lots of restaurants nearby to experience the area. Of course, your hotel accommodations are included, luggage service at most hotels, as well as airport transportation to and from each airport is included. So we really pride ourselves in providing an inclusive product as much as possible. Of course, there are some things that may not be included. Debbie?
That's right. We do work hard to have a comprehensive itinerary and a product for you, but there are a couple things not included. Those are gratuities for your tour director, your tour driver, the meals that are on your own, your souvenirs, and your optional activities. This tour does include a free day, so there are possibly expenses that you might incur to make your tour even better. And once you register for the tour, which there aren't a lot of spots left, so hopefully you register soon, we will send you an email that will list ways to get reservations to hold your spot on a coach tour or a snowmobile tour, and as well as outfitters we recommend that you contact.
Absolutely. And one last thing I'd like to mention is that Debbie and I will each be leading these tours. We have 2 departures for sunrise tours this winter, January 26th and January 28th. And Debbie and I are excited to be leading those adventures into Yellowstone National Park. And with that, I want to say, thank you to you for taking the time to join us and let us tell you about Yellowstone and our Magic of Winter in Yellowstone tour. We hope that we've been able to answer some of your questions throughout this presentation. Of course, we probably couldn't cover everything. So Mary, are there any questions that popped up during the presentation?
Yes, so we have reached the Q&A portion of our session today. Throughout this presentation, I've just acquired a few questions from viewers so far. So I'll go ahead and read those aloud for Caleb and Debbie. But if a question does arise, please feel free to send it our way. We will still try our best to get that answered. There's a Q&A button at the top of your screen. Just click that and you can choose to ask a question anonymously. So without further ado, somebody has asked, what is the food like on this tour and what to eat on days where a meal is not included?
So the food is just like any other sunrise tour where you'll have the included meals. For dinner, we'll have a starter, entree choices, dessert, non-alcoholic beverages. You will have breakfast every morning, which is usually a buffet where you can choose what will give you the energy to get through the day. We hope that you'll try some of the local products. Some of the meals will offer maybe a elkhorn burger or a bison burger, kind of fun to try that when you're in Yellowstone National Park. As far as meals on your own, we will take you to an area where you can choose what you want to eat, where you want to go. There should be multiple options and you can go into any restaurant or eating establishment and choose what you'd like.
And with Debbie and I being so familiar with the areas on this tour, we can certainly recommend some of our favorites to you. I know I'm looking forward to getting back to the Slippery Otter in West Yellowstone and some of the other fine establishments in those areas.
Yes.
So another question is, what are the average temperatures?
You know, average temperatures are going to be probably in the teens, maybe in the low 20s, but I've been in the park at this time of year when it's in the 40s and 50s, and the locals are saying it needs to be colder.
And I've been when it was colder, a lot below zero. So we just dress warm and you're in and out of the elements, not very long staying in them, or as little or as much as you want. So it's manageable.
Absolutely. And the key is to be prepared and to know when you sign up for this tour, you're signing up for the winter experience. And when people are prepared, that there is never anyone that goes home from this tour wishing they hadn't done it because of the cold.
No.
That is part of what you're signing up for
beautiful.
here is the winter experience.
It's incredible.
Is it difficult to get on and off the snow coaches with the coach being higher up than a regular bus?
That's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. No, it is not. And you will always have someone assisting you, whether it is myself or the driver. They also have a step stool. So you'll have a step stool and then you'll walk up with railings on both sides. So it is easy to navigate and you can navigate it in your yak tracks.
Is one date better than the others? This is kind of a tricky question because
no, they're both the same itinerary. Maybe whether it be warmer or colder, we don't know, but both dates are the same itineraries. Everything will be included that you saw today. One of the tours may have the days in a different order, but the free day and the snow coach day, but everything is included. The tours are the same.
And it's worth mentioning, since the tour departures are so close together, the weather is likely to be very similar as well. There won't be a drastic difference between departing on January 26th or departing on January 28th. There is still space available for the January 26th departure. The January 28th departure is currently sold out with a waiting list.
Caleb, you have a fan. Somebody asked, which tour will Caleb be on?
Well, I will be leading the January 26th tour. Debbie will be leading the January 28th departure that is sold out.
Somebody asked, do you spend any time in the lodge at Yellowstone?
So when we get to Old Faithful on our snow coach tour day, you'll have a bit of time where you can visit the visitor center. You can go to the gift shop in the lodge, a little bit of time in the lodge. And that's also where you take time to go see Old Faithful. So you maybe have an hour and a half to 2 hours there to fit all of that in. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Somebody said we live in Jefferson City, Missouri. This kind of goes for anybody outside of the St. Louis area. Where/how do we join the group?
Great question. We're always willing to be accommodating in helping people join our tours from a variety of different locations. We do offer a regular pickup in Columbia, Missouri, which is probably the closest one to the Jeff City area. So we pick up there at the Drury Plaza Hotel on Highway 70. People can leave their cars there overnight and do quite frequently. And we pick up and then bring you to St. Louis to join our tour. We also offer a regular pickup in Cape Girardeau. And if you're not from one of those areas, or if you're from an area that is a different city where you could potentially fly from Chicago or Phoenix or anywhere else, you can always call us and we can find a way for you to join the tour. As one of the strengths of ours as a business is really accommodating you and making sure that we can find a way for you to join our tour.
And then I have a question. If someone's already booked on the tour, how do they go about booking the activities that they might want to do on that free day?
Well, once they sign up for the tour, we'll send them an email, and that email will outline exactly the steps you need to book yourself on the tour. You will book yourself directly onto the snowmobile or snow coach tour if you choose to on your pre-day.
And if you are signed up for the tour and you still need that information, please just contact us. It's possible that it could be in a junk email folder or something like that. But if you need that information, you're always free to contact us and we will let you know how you can get signed up.
Yeah, just call the office and we'll send you the email.
Somebody asked regarding gratuities. Is it one tour director, one driver? What's the ratio there?
So we will provide a gratuity to the local guides, the snow coach drivers. You're of course welcome to give them an additional thank you if you choose. I know they would appreciate that. As far as the tour directors and the coach driver, the primary driver on the motor coach for the tour, there'll be one tour director and one driver. I believe was that the question? Okay.
This is from Teresa, kind of going back to deviation flights. She's from Alaska and her sister's from Oregon. Can they fly to Bozeman from Portland, Oregon? And if so, how does this affect price and pickup in Bozeman?
Well, that'll be a situation that we would be happy to talk to you individually about. So give us a call. Like I've said, we're always open to accommodating people from different cities to fly directly into Bozeman to meet the tour, to find the best flight for you to do that, and then to find a way for you to meet the group. So it's very common on our tours for someone to fly from a different city and to perhaps meet the group at the starting hotel or to meet the group at the airport at baggage claim once they arrive.
So bottom line is, yes, you can
So-
definitely join us and we'd love to have you.
Do you fly direct to Bozeman?
There are no direct flights from St. Louis to Bozeman, Montana. It's likely we would go through Denver, perhaps Salt Lake City, depending on the airline that we're on. But no, unless we were to charter a private plane, we can't fly direct to Bozeman from St. Louis.
And lastly, someone anonymously said, I was lucky enough to go on this tour 3 years ago. Fantastic tour. So we thank you for the compliment.
Thank you.
Great, thank
Glad
you.
you had a great time. So actually that is all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I want to thank Debbie and Caleb for their time, but especially I want to thank all of you for joining us at our very first webinar, for all of your great questions. We are so grateful. If you'd like more information on our Magic of Winter and Yellowstone tour, or if you'd like to book with us, you can give us a call at 314-526-3126, or you can visit us online at travelsunrise.com. Both of those are listed on this screen if you want to write that down real quick. From all of us at Sunrise, Debbie, Caleb, we hope you guys have a great day and we hope to travel with you soon. Thank you so much.
Everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.